I told Ohad's workers to please send me a bill. He has like a crew. He has a crew of people. He has a crew.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. I know, Jill, I always, because how much was it charged for it? Oh, you gave me 45, I think it's 60. I know it's so guilty, I don't think it's enough. You know, it's very, very inexpensive, you know? Yeah, he deserves more, you know, he's very nice. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you from New Jersey. I'll talk to you. I'm just saying, I'm before. There you go.
Honey.
Okay, we are on pay base.
Correct.
82. So we learned yesterday that Habol Aram is somebody who has relations with a non-Jewish woman, kanoim poigembo. People who are zealous for HaKadosh Baruch Hu can kill him. You can't take him to, it's not capital punishment through Besdin. It's sort of, you have to be personally aroused by the act. So what about lo pogubo kanemos? Well, what's his din if nobody killed him? So in Shei Rav Gemara, Rav forgot the answer. So Akriul Rav Kahana Bechelmei, Rav Kahana had a dream, and he related the dream to Rav. The dream was a pasuk, Bagda Yehuda. Yehuda was a traitor. V'toeva nest of Yisrael, it was an abomination done. U'Yushalayim ki chilel Yehuda kodesh Hashem, there was desecration of holiness. Asher ahev u'boal bas el mechar, and had relations with the daughter of a foreign god. And so this pasuk, which is a pasuk in Malachi, appeared to Rav Kahana. Also, Omer lehachi akriun. So Rav Kahana went to Rav to have him explain this pasuk. Ad krei Rav l'Gemara. So when he heard the pasuk, Rav remembered the halacha that Bagda Yehuda zu avodah zarah. That refers to the avodah zarah lav. V'cheinu omer begadatem bi beis Yisrael nu Hashem. Avodah zarah is the term begida, traitor. Being a traitor is referred to as avodah zarah. V'toivana slav Yisrael v'Yushalayim ze mishkav zachar. That's homosexuality. V'cheinu omer v'etzachar lo yishkav mishkavei isha toivahi, because homosexuality is referred to as a toeva, an abomination. Ki chilel Yehuda kodesh Hashem zezona. This refers to prostitution. Chenu Omer Lo Yeh Kadesh Bivnei Yisrael, which refers to prostitution. We're on Pei Beis, Amid Aleph, near the top. Ubal Bas El Nechar Zeh Bal Anachris. This refers to the sin of sleeping with Goyim. Uksiv Basrei, what's written in the pasuk? Yachreis Hashem leisha sheyasena erva ona melei Yaakov umagish minchal Hashem tzvaos. He's going to be cut off. It's kores. But it depends. Im Talmid Chacham lo yelo er b'chachamim. If he's Talmid Chacham, he won't understand what the Chacham are talking about. Ve'ona b'talmidim, he won't be able to answer questions that his students ask him. Im koinu lo yelo ben magish minchal Hashem tzvaos. So he won't have children that will serve in the Beis Hamikdash. Whoever has relations with a shiksa, it's as if he's married in Avodah Zarah. It refers to having relations with a goyita. When the Melech Yehoyakim that we learned in Malachim Beis died, it was written in his skull, Zos v'od acheres. This and another punishment. The grandfather of Freda found a skull in the gates of Yerushalayim. It was written on that skull this and something else. Kavra, he buried it, but V'hadar Novuk, it jumped up. Kavra V'hadar Novuk, kept on jumping out of the grave. Omar, Hai Golgalta Shel Yoyakim. This must be the skull of Yoyakim HaMelech, the Siv Bey, Kvuras Chamor Yikaver. We learned this, that he was cursed with having the grave of a donkey. Sachov Hashlech Mahal will be thrown out of the ground. If we never learned Malachim Beis, we never would have known this Gemara. Amar Malkuhu. Whatever you may say, he was a king. It's not polite to have him cause so much embarrassment. Shakla Krocha B'Shiroi. He wrapped it up in like silk and put it in a box. His wife came and saw it. Nafkis and she told her neighbor, this probably the skull of his first wife. She doesn't want to forget her. So the woman got angry on behalf of the neighbor. She threw it into the fire to burn it up. Uklasa. And that is now what we understand means that Zos, he's going to die, and also something else is going to happen, which means even his skull is going to burn. I think we may have learned this when we went through the psukim. During the time of the Chashmonaim, they had a bezdin and they made a gzeira. If you have relations with the Nochris, it's as if you had relations with the Nida, with the Shivcha Knanis, with a Goya and Eshesish. You give him Malchus, Midiv Chachamim. Kiyasa Ravid Omer Mishum Nashgaz, which is Nida Shivcha Goya Zona. Ava Mishum Ishus Leslu. But there is no Eshesish, because there's no Eshesish by Goyim. Their wives, they don't mafkir to other men. So there is a din of Eshesish. Somebody comes to Bezdin to ask a question. What should he do if he sees a Jew having relations with a non-Jewess? Ain more and low. We don't give him a halacha that he's allowed to kill him. This halacha of kanoim poikim has to arouse from the guy himself. You don't paskin that he's allowed to kill him. If Zimri had separated from having relations with Cosby and Vahargo Pinchas, and Pinchas killed him at that time, Neragalav, Pinchas would have been put to death. Because you can only kill the person in the act. In fact, Nepach Zimri, Vahargo Pinchas, while Pinchas was trying to kill him, Zimri killed Pinchas, Ein Naragalav, he'd be a roidev, Sharei roidefu. So it's extrajudicial killing, you have to be careful. Vaymer Moshel Shoftei Yisrael. Moshe at the time told the Shofte Israel, Hirgu ish anashav hanismadim lebal peor. He gave a command for the people, for the shoitrim, to kill anyone who was worshiping Baal Peor. Halach shifto shel Shimon etzel Zimri ben Salu. So the Shevet came to Zimri, who was the head of the Shevet. Amrlo, hein donin din in the foshes. Vatayoshev v'shoisik. They're trying to kill us, and you're sitting here quiet. Ma asa. Omatz v'kibetz esrim v'bar elef Yisrael. Zimri gathered 24,000 of his compatriots. V'halach etzel Cosby. Went to Cosby, who was this Midianite princess. Amrla, Hashmili, I want to have relations with you. Amrla bas melechani. I'm a princess. You're only one of the 12 Nisim. My father said only to have relations with the chief of the clan. But I have a shevet. I'm bigger than Moshe. Shehu sheni labetin, right? I, meaning Zimri, I'm the son of Shimon, who was the second child. V'hu shlishi labetin. Moshe is the son of Levi, who's the third. Tfasa bivli roseh v'avi etzel Moshe. So Zimri grabbed Cosby and dragged her by her hair, and presented her to Moshe. Amrlo ben Amram zu asura umuteres. He called Moshe by a derogative name, Ben Amram. Am I permitted to live with her or not? V'im tomar asura. And if you're going to say asura, bas Yisro mihitir lecha. You married the daughter of Yisro. She was also not Jewish. Who permitted you to marry? Now, Moshe and Sipporah were Bnei Noach. It was before Matan Torah, so they were mutter to each other. Anyways, Moshe temporarily forgot the halacha, what he's supposed to do with if you have relations with an ochris. Go kulam bivchi. Everyone in the Sanhedrin started crying. Uksiv. Right after this, Vayar Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, Vayikach mitoch ha'eda, Vayarko mitoch ha'eda, Vayikach roach biyado. Mara. I mean, what is Vayar? What is Pinchas see? Amarav. Ra Maisa v'niskra alocha. He saw the act that Cosby was doing with Zimri was doing with Cosby, and he remembered the alocha. Amarlo, Achi Abi Abba. You are the brother of my grandfather, because Aaron was Pinchas's grandfather. Lo kach li madatani b'rtcha Marsina. You taught us when you came down from Marsina, boilas hanochris kanoim poigimbo. That someone who is inspired by being zealous for God can kill the boilas hanochris. Amarlo karyana de igusa iu lavi pragna. So fine, you who read the letter should be the shaliach to carry out the action, and go do it. That's what Rav says, Vayar Pinchas. Shmuel Amar Ra'a, that the pasuk in Mishlei, in Chochma ve'in Tvuna ve'in Etzel neged Hashem, that when it comes to, you can't be worried about posking halacha in front of Rabbo, which Moshe Rabbeinu was the Rebbe. There's no Chochmas when it comes to Hashem. Kol makom sheyesh chilul Hashem and chokin kavod l'Rav. When there's chilul Hashem going on, you don't have to worry about the kavod of the Rebbe. Rav Yitzchak Amar b'shem Rav Elazar, another pshat. Rosh haba malach v'yishchis ba'am. He saw the angel killing all the people because of the sin of Zimri. So he has to fix it so the plague won't continue. So it says vayako mitoch ha'eda vayikach romach biyado. Mikan, he picked up the spear after he left the Sanhedrin. You cannot go into the yeshiva with weapons. Sholaf shanana v'inicha be'unkalo. He took off the point of the spear and he put it in his clothing. And the spear without the point was like a stick. like a walking stick. He was walking it using the spear without the tip as a walking stick. Kivan shigia etzel shifto shel Shimon. Omar hecha metzinu shifto shel Levi gadol mishel Shimon. The Shimonites didn't want to let him go in there. They said, we're bigger than the Levi. And he also said, if the greater Shevet is having relations with these goyim, I want to do the same thing. It's permitted for me. Amra nichulo. So the guards allowed him to go in. And he went in afulas estrochav nichnas. He went in ostensibly to have tashmish. And they were happy. And they knew that the Levites were the frumer. And he said, Hitiru frushin, that even the Chasidim v'Yireim like Pinchas is now permitted as a dover. Amrav Yechnon, Shisha Nisi Nasrul Pinchas. 6 miracles happened when he killed Zimri. Shayalol Zimri Livrosh. If Zimri separated from Cosby, he wouldn't have been able to kill him. V'lo Piresh. Echad Shayalol Daber. V'lo Diber. Zimri should have called out for help. He didn't call out. Echad Shekivin b'Zachrusa Shel Isha v'Naglusa Shel Isha. He aimed the spear so that it would penetrate through the genitalia of the male and the female. Everyone would recognize that that's why they were killed. Echad Shelo Nishmatum Naruch. They didn't fall off the spear. Echad Sheba Malach V'Gbias HaMashkoif. That they were lifted up and they didn't fall out. Echad Sheba Malach Shehishchis Ba'am. There was a malach there was a plague. Everybody was confused, so they weren't able to stop Pinchas. He came and he put the spear with Cosby and Zimri there right in front of Hashem. For these nobodies, you killed 24,000 Jews. Nemar, that in Tehillim it says Pinchas stood in David, and the Magefa stopped. Amr Balazar Yispalel Nemar Vayipalel. Malamin Kivyachol Shasa Plilos Imkano. Plilos is like Mishpat. He was like taking Hashem to task. Bikshu Malach Hashem Ledogfo. They wanted to push him. What are you saying in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu? Amr Lahan Hanichulo Kanoi ben Kanoihu. Remember, Levi and Shimon were Kanoim for the covet of Dinah when Shechem raped Dinah. So Pinchas is a Kanoi ben Kanoi. Meishiv Chama ben Meishiv Chamahu. He's somebody who lessened the anger of Hashem. Because Aaron also reduced the anger because of Maisa Koirach. Yischilu Shvatim Avazanoso. The Shvatim were making fun of Pinchas. Isim ben Putizeh. Putiel was Yisro. So it's known that the mother of Pinchas was one of the daughters of Yisro, who married Elazar, Pinchas ben Elazar, right? Isim ben Putizeh, Shepitem Avi Imo, that Yisro fattened a golem of Avodah Zarah because he had tried all the Avodah Zarah in the world, and this guy is V'harag Nasi Shevet B'Yisrael is killing a Shevet B'Yisrael. Ba Kasav Yichsu. So Kadosh Baruch Hu writes in the Torah about Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. It's because of this yichus that it's important. Amar LaKadosh Baruch Hu LaMoshe Hagdem Lo Shalom. Show honor in front of everybody to Pinchas, which will resuscitate Pinchas's reputation. That's why it says Shenemar Lachein Omar Nino Sein Lo Brisi Shalom. Ver'ua Kapara Zu Shetei Mechaperes V'Lechas Loim. This atonement that Pinchas achieved for Klal Yisrael lasts forever. Amar Avdach Ben Amarav Zarzir Mosnayim Otayish Umelech Alkum Imo. Posuk in Mishlei. Arba Meos ve'esrim ve'arba be'ilos. 424 acts of relation, which is the Gematria of Zarzir, Baal Oso Rasha, Oso Ayom. He had 424 episodes of sexual relations that day. V'himtin lo Pinchas Achetoshash Kocho. Pinchas waited until he got tired out. V'hu eni Odeya. He didn't have to wait. Shemelach al-kum, which is the reference to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Imo. Didn't know that, understood Kodesh Baruch Hu's Imo, he could have handled Zimri even in the beginning. B'masnisa tona shishim, first he had 60 relations. Ad shenasa kebetza muzarz, he became so weak, he was like a runny egg. V'hi I saw, and the woman, Cosby, karugam le'amayim, like a row of plants full of water. Amrav Kahana, umoshava beisa. She describes how wide she was. Tani Rav Yosef, kever shalah, that means the opening of her uterus, amahai, it was amma wide. Amrav Sheshet lo Cosby shma, her name wasn't Cosby. Ela Shvilna bas Surshma, her name was Shvilna. V'lama nikra shma Cosby shekizba bavia. Because she went against her father. The father told her not to have relations only with their leader, and she was just a shevet. Cosby shamar lavia kos bi amzeh. She had asked her father to shech this nation, because that we can trick them up through znus. People say when they talk about a famous prostitute, between the reeds to an arava, what is this shvilni, which referring to the zona? She's clearly coming for znus. Or bahari kalfi dekani shvilnoi maboy. If she's going to pick fruit, get flowers, it's clearly for znus. Guf to la'ama. Guf to li'ima. Everyone says you're a zona bazona. Zimri ben Salu, Shaul ben Aknanis, Ushlumiel ben Srishadoy. Zimri, Ashnasa Kametza Muzeres. We said he's like a runny egg. Ben Salu, Al Shehilsli Avonya Shel Mishpachto. When people talk about him, they remind everybody of the sins of the family. Shaul, Al Shehilshil Atzmo Dvarvera. He loaned himself for Dvarvera. Ben Aknanis, Al Shasa Maisa Knan. The Knanim were famous for immorality. Uma Shmo Shlumiel ben Srishadai. Shmo. When we say Shlumiel in Yiddish, it refers to Shlumiel. Okay. Kohen Sheshimesh Betuma. We said if the Kohen doesn't have Avodah Betuma, the young Kohanim take and break his head. Kohen Sheshimesh Betuma, Chayv Misa B'dei Shemayim, or not? Armelot Tinisua. We have a Mishnah. Kohen Sheshimesh Betuma, Ein Echav HaKohanim Mevinus Ola Beis Din. They don't bring him to Bez. They take him out of the Azor and they pierce his brain. If we say it's a chiyuv misa b'dei shamayim, the young Kohanim shouldn't kill him. They should wait until Hashem kills him. It's a raya that there's no chayiv misa, even b'dei shamayim. Elamai, eino chayiv, mi'ika midid rachmona patri v'nan neka v'niktale. Same question that Walter had yesterday. How can we allow the young Kohanim to kill him? Is there something that Minatora is potter and we going and kill him? For anything more of a law? What do you mean? Vatnan. We learned it yesterday. Misha Loka Vashana Beis, the Machnis Kippah. So they're allowed to kill somebody extrajudicially. Right? Because they're also Rachmana Patre, Vanan Katlina Lei. There the Torah says he doesn't get death, but we kill him. So the Gemara says, Amr of Yirmi, Amr Shlakish, the Malkush Shal Krisis says, that we said was like Chelev and Damu, you're going to get Kores, which is the Gavra Bar Katoli, he was a dead man anyways, Misal Beis Shamayim. Yeah, but we said Goyne Vakasva, which is just Goslin. There's no Onish Shamayim there. Yeah. Ham Rav Yehuda B'Klei Sharis Askinon. There we said it's not just the theft, it's stealing Klei Sharis. Ramizav Lo Yavo LaRos Kabbalas HaKodesh Vamesu, which was an asmachta which says that you get misa for that. I've Amakalas HaKoisem, which you're not Chai B'Nator Misa, and we say Kanoim Poikimbo. Hatani Rav Yosef, that they Yake Koisem is Koisem, but the Mexican looks like you're cursing Hashem and you're Chai Misa for that. The Torah doesn't say that you're supposed to kill a goyet if you sleep with her. Yet, we see we're allowed to kill her. Yeah, but Rav Kana B'Chalme, we have the dream of Rav Kana Adkirei Rav L'Gemare, and Rav remembered that it's Onish Kores. So in all these cases, there is some aspect of Misa that gave the Chachamim the ability to kill these people. Esvei. Hayotzek, you pour oil on a mincha. Ve'aboilo, you mix a mincha. Ve'apoises, you break up after you bake the mincha to pieces. Which is, all of these are things that you do in the Beis HaMikdash. Hamoilech ve'ameniv, you salt a mincha, or you wave a mincha. Or hamagish, you bring it close to the mizbeach. V'amesader sa'shulchan, or you line up the lechem aponim on the shulchan. V'ameitiv is aneris, or somebody cleans the menorah. V'akoimetz, or you do kmitza. V'makabel damim, you're makabel dam, and you do all of these outside of the mikdash. Patur, vein chayav nalem lo mishum zarus. There's no chiyuv because you're not a kohen. V'lo mishum tuma, v'lo mishum chutz b'gadim. And not because you're not wearing the appropriate garment.
Why do they have to say that? We know from Bamos that you don't get into trouble.
Say again?
When they did the korbanos outside the Beis Hamikdash.
This is not. They didn't do a complete avoda from the beginning to end. These were just little parts of the avoda. That's why there's not the same chiyuv.
But hold on a second. But did they do the complete avoida when they had the Bamos? Did they do the whole complete avoida?
Yes.
So it had to be a kohen?
No.
So it's lechora. So we know.
But now here we're talking about b'shas Isra Bamos.
No.
Remember, the Bamos were prohibited for the 369 years that the Mishkan stood, and for all the time that the Beis HaMikdash stood. It's only permitted the 14 years in Gilgal and the 57 years between Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow because we're in the middle of this sugya.
Interesting. I got it. But by the way, the clay zion, so we learn from Beis Mikdash, can't use any clay zion in the Beis Mikdash either. So that's probably why you can't bring it into a Beis Midrash.
Why do all these? You see all these Hesder Yeshiva guys bringing in their weapons to the.
Okay, but I understand because that's Shas Tchak, because they're in a 8 Sarah, but over here, but you see by us in the Beis Midrash, you see even the law in America is you're not allowed to bring a gun near a school. It's Lechora Beis Midrash, and if you saw, we put up a sign by Yavne, you're not allowed to bring a gun to Yavne. So we did the right thing. We're following halacha.
Ein nichnosin b'klei zayin lebeis hamedrash, v'yesh amim gam bebeis haknesses.
Yeah.
It's. I'll tell you where the halacha is. I'll tell you exactly where the halacha is cited. Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Kuf Nun Aleph.
Yeah, but so I'm just saying. So Takat's a big shaila. Why can they bring it? The reason they can bring it into the Beis Midrash is because first of all they're all in the army. They're on Itkonanut all the time, and basically you're not allowed to leave your weapon without you there. Where you're going to lock it? So that's the law of anybody.
Okay, must be correct. We'll have to.
But I'm sure I'm sure they have a heter for it. They don't just do it.
Absolutely. We have to see Is it pikuach nefesh? Is it shas melchama? We've been learning a lot of these halachos with Tzvi. I might say, okay.
I have to tell you, after the Yom Kippur War, I was with Rosh Yeshiva Rav Goldwicht, and I was sitting in the office, and somebody called from Mishmar Agvul. So the guy says, you have to start doing shmira at the yeshiva after the Yom Kippur War. Every night you had to do, like you did in camp. You did shmira for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right? So Rosh Yeshiva says to him, and you're giving them guns. The guy said no. He said, okay, so don't waste my time. Either you give them guns or they're not doing shmira. So then they took the whole yeshiva. We learned how to shoot those old rifles that they had there.
The Galil.
No, the old thing is from.
No, the Galil was an old rifle from 48.
From 48, and we went to the shooting range, and everybody practiced shooting, and then you walked around at night with a rifle.
We did not have weapons in Shmira and Camp Mosheva.
No, listen, Camp Mosheva.
Maybe the Shaliach had.
I'm talking about Kerem B'Yavne.
I'm talking about, but I'm saying we had Shmira from midnight to 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 4 p.m. You'd have to wake the guy up.
Also, we had Shmira, but we never had any. We never had any weapons. They once kidnapped on Shabbos.
You're talking about in your camps.
In our camp, in Bnei Akiva camp in South Africa, one night, my brother's tent. They came into the tent and they kidnapped a boy.
Who's they?
On a Friday.
Who's
Scottsim from the caravan park next door.
Wow.
Came in and kidnapped the kid.
And you guys had to go in there and get him back.
They chased him with a van and all this kind of thing. They got him back.
Yeah.
Not a joke.
We had Ku Klux, we had, very evil camps nearby, like in Malibu. And in Big Bear definitely had like Nazi camps. It was scary. We didn't know somebody could come in, whatever. And there was, like you said, what is 2 teenage boys shmirah without a weapon? What were they going to do? Nothing. But the sheriffs, I remember the sheriff was always on call. We once had the sheriff land the helicopter on the baseball field. It was coming to inspect something because there was, I think, they drew a swastika on one of our cabins. We had issues. You're talking about 69. You're talking about 67, 68. You're talking about the Wild West here.
Yeah, I remember us going in the train. You had to do shmira on the train because we had like a few of we took over, I don't know how many of the car, the whatever, and you had to do shmira on the train when you
because the goyim would want to start up with the Yiddish.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Very good.
All right.
Tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Harold, when are you leaving, Harold?
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, have a safe trip.
Trip. We'll miss you, Harold.
Enjoy. Oh, okay. Don't cry.
We'll miss you terribly.
Call
Harold.
in for the shiurim when you can.
I'll try. Yeah, 10 o'clock's not too bad. Yeah. All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night.